So, in this video, I basically wanted to talk about Kenya Bridge of Spirits and Ratchet and Clank, because these are two games that, from what we've been led to believe, should be out soon, and neither of them have officially got a release date yet. And I'm starting to get kind of frustrated that we haven't either gotten a release date or an update that's saying that the game's been delayed or something, just to let us know one way or the other. And I'm starting to think Ratchet and Clank is going to end up being delayed, which if it is, I feel like it's a huge, huge disappointment, which I'll talk about in a second. But I'm going to start with Kenya Bridge of Spirits. So Kenya Bridge of Spirits was originally supposed to be a launch PS5 game. It's also on PS4. I think it's coming to Xbox later. I think it's going to be on PlayStation only for the first year or something. And I think there's already been some talk about if it does well and it looks amazing, maybe Sony will buy the studio that's making it. It's made by more of an independent developer, and just looks fantastic. The art style looks really nice. Looks very Pixar-like. Kenya Bridge of Spirits does. The one disappointing thing for me personally is that I've heard it's going to be digital only, at least at the start. That they might come out with a physical version, but then I don't know how long that'll be. And the reason I say that is because I personally always like to get games physically, because I feel like digitally you don't truly own it. Because if something happens and they take it down, well, you're kind of screwed then if you want to get it and you haven't yet or whatever. Or trying to get it again if your system breaks or something, that can perhaps be an issue. But yeah, Kenya Bridge of Spirits, like I said, supposed to be a launch title, got delayed to Q1. There was actually some rumors there for a little bit that it had been pushed all the way to Q4 of 2021. But the studio sent out a tweet, which I just saw today. Apparently, it came out like 4 days ago. Someone had said something about the Q4 thing. They denied that. They basically said it's still on track for Q1. So the studio said it's still on track for Q1. We are in Q1 now, though, and we haven't officially got a release date. And we're actually in the second month of Q1 now. So if it's coming out in Q1 still, like they said, and it's not been delayed again, then it should be out at the end of March at latest, and we're in February now. So because of that, I would think if it's still indeed March, we got to get a release date very, very, very soon. So hopefully like Monday or something, the beginning of next week, because we don't usually, I think, get announcements for games and such on the actual weekend or whatever. I think typically you get video game announcements during the week rather than the weekend, especially for like release dates and stuff. But yeah, hopefully Monday or something we'll get an update on Kenya Bridge of Spirits, because I just want to know the release date, especially if it is still Q1, like they've said, with next month being what would be the end of that. Now, Ratchet and Clank, I don't really know what to expect from Ratchet and Clank in terms of release date. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this. First of all, Ratchet and Clank was shown when PlayStation 5 was first shown. Shortly after that, there was a little bit more shown. It was a couple months later, I think. I think it was like a month or so later, and sometime in December, I believe. And they said that they were shooting for release window for the console. Usually, release window is the first 6 months of a console's release, which, if that's the case, means it should be out no later than like middle May. Now, the other thing is there was a game called Returnal, first-party studio, that was supposed to come out in March. At one point in time, I thought Ratchet and Clank would be March, but then there was also talk about Kenya being March, and Returnal was supposed to be March, and so I was like, there's no way they're going to have all three of those in the same month. And especially with Returnal, because you don't usually see two big first-party exclusives come out in the same month. Usually there's at least like a month apart, sometimes even more, but usually a month at least. Example of that would be when you had last year Ghost of Tsushima came out like a month after Last of Us 2. And so I thought with Returnal being March, okay, Ratchet and Clank won't be March. But Returnal got delayed till late April, I believe now. And so because of that, I thought, well, okay, maybe Ratchet and Clank can still be March because of Returnal being pushed. But I kind of feel like if it was March and we're in February now, I kind of feel like we would have already gotten it confirmed by now. In part because, although you can kind of say that with Kenya Bridge of Spirits too, but part of that is because I kind of feel like by now, if it was coming out in March, depending on what part of March, but especially if it was, say, early March, and we're in early February now, that would mean the game would be having to go gold right about now. And if the game was going gold, I kind of feel like that would have leaked by now, if that was the case. So it kind of makes me think, well, maybe late March, but I don't know. I still feel like it would be announced by now. But if it's not March, then it's kind of like when, because you got Returnal in April. So then you're thinking, well, is it not April? Then that kind of puts it to May, which is kind of getting towards the end of that launch window thing. And just the fact we haven't heard much of an update for Ratchet and Clank kind of worries me that it's been pushed back and that it could be even like a summer game now or something. But not really sure. Now, part of the reason I say too, real quick, with why it would be, personally, I feel like a big disappointment if it is a summer or later release, is that for a couple of reasons. One, it was said to be a launch window game. Two, from what we saw at the PlayStation 5 reveal, and then like a month later when they showed some more stuff, it looked like it was in pretty far development. It looked like it was perhaps really close to being complete, to the point where I kind of felt like the only reason it didn't come out at launch was because Spider-Man Miles Morales was a launch game and they're both Insomniac games, and it would be odd to have two games made by the same first-party studio coming out in at the exact same time. So I kind of felt like that was the only reason it wasn't a launch, was I felt like they decided, okay, we'll have Miles Morales be an Insomniac launch game, and then a few months later we'll release Ratchet and Clank as a second Insomniac game, which would mean early 2021. But here we are in early 2021, and like I said, we haven't had an update. So just considering the fact that I personally felt like the only reason we didn't get it at launch was the fact that they didn't want to release two Insomniac games at the same time. So if that's the case, then like I said, you would think early 2021. So if it's delayed further, then I guess that means I was wrong. It wasn't as far along as I thought. It's just it looked pretty far along. But yeah, that's basically my ideas on Kenya, Bridge of Spirits, and Ratchet and Clank, and the release dates and when can we expect them. Considering that Kenya just 4 days ago was said to still be on track for early 2021, quarter one 2021 in particular, I'm going to say that's what we're going to see. But because we haven't gotten a release date, I'm going to say it's going to be more towards the middle to later half of 2021. Because I kind of feel like, even kind of like with Ratchet and Clank, I feel like if it was going to be February or early March, we would have had a leak by now saying the game's gone gold or something. Because it would be about now. So because of that, I'm kind of thinking late March. Ratchet and Clank, getting nervous on. We haven't had an update. Hopefully we'll get an update on that soon. The big thing with Ratchet and Clank is I just want an update because we haven't had one. At least with Kenya, we got the update that's still on track. Ratchet and Clank, we haven't had that update. I feel like we need to be told either way. Either, yeah, it's coming out on this date, or be it no matter if Ratchet and Clank is going to be, say, in that launch window still, I think we need to be confirmed that by being told Ratchet and Clank coming, March 20th or March 30th or whatever it is, or even if the release date's a little bit further out now, say it's been pushed to May or June or something, I think we need to be told that, just so we know either that it's still in the launch window and that it's coming out on this day, or that it's coming out May 30th or June 5th or whatever it is. Either way, we just need to know that. So that's my comments, and just wanted to see you guys' overall ideas of when you think these two games might come out, and do you kind of agree with my thoughts or not? So later.